acting straight. It's like the same John Wayne.
My name is Paul James. I host English News every morning.
And a Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, my lovely audience. Welcome to the East-West Show that is exclusively sponsored by Wolfers, a Belgian royal family designated brand of jewelry with 400 years of history and handforged by 10 generations of greatest handcraftsmen. That stands for testimony for the spectacular and the share of the royal glory. With the show today, we have the title, Are We at Another War? Being in America, we are kind of talking about either lawsuit domestically and internationally we're talking about wars. We're so used to it, we're so good at them. With me today is my dear friend, a political commentator, former candidate for California Senate, Mr. Chris Shahinian. Welcome, sir, to the show.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you for allowing me.
Over the years, I have known this gentleman more and more and more, and I believe he is an individual, a human being, in my mind, in my eye, stand for justice. So with the Iranian situation being tightened every single day, we Americans really worry, or to some others really getting excited about another war. So to the question, before the question is answered, are we at another war? We want to find out how exactly, what exactly is happening in that area.
Well, number one, so it's looked like based on news, based on what's coming from Washington, D.C. and what's coming from Congress, and it's particularly from a Republican Party, war is imminent. That's what we understand, because maximum pressure on Iran mean maximum, possibility for war. And I think to understand what's happening in Iran, we should understand Middle East, the entire Middle East situation.
Yeah, exactly, please.
I think, and we know the history, Middle East and entire part of Europe was under Ottoman Empire for 400 years until 1915, when including majority of Middle East, Palestine, Israel, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Libya, Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Persia, they all was under Ottoman Empire. And when Ottoman Empire lost the war in World War I, they shrank, and who came? British Empire. And before we became United States become empire. So British Empire and French, they divided, and with Italy, majority of the part of the Middle East. And since then, they divided the Middle East in small nations. Kuwait. There was no Kuwait 100 years ago. Qatar.
At least by 1915.
Yeah, there was no Qatar 200 years ago. There was no Bahrain. It was one nation, Arabian Peninsula, and there was a couple of small kingdoms all over. And they make territory because we find oil in that territory. And Persia was next to Iran. Today, Iran is historic Persia. They have history of 5,000 years of history, civilization, trade, like Chinese history, like Egyptian history. They are one of the strongest nation in the history of the world. And from time, if you go to history, Cyrus the Great King, he went all the way, he was able to defeat Spartans. This historic stuff. And he was able to defeat Athenians. It was so the history goes beyond Persian, which is today Iran. And where we come in this situation, in Iran became 1912, during that time, became independent also. They have their own Shah. They brought to the power. And because of this oil, British and German engineer, they went to Persia to export oil. And Iran became one of the great nations produce oil until today. 4 million barrels a day. So that's a huge resources for. And in 1943, when Allied forces, they forced Iran Shah to move German engineers from Persia, because there was a war, Nazis, and Shah of Iran back then, Persia, said, no, I'm not going to do that. What we did, United States and British together, we removed the Shah. We brought proxy government there. That didn't last. That didn't last. And Shah went out, government came in. 10 years after that, the people that were able to form their own government, people of Iran, today Iran. And the government back then said, we're going to take the oil, make it for our national interest. And who didn't like that? British. What we did, we invade, topple the government, exile them. We brought another Shah, Pahlavi Shah, which is like, they were, and what happened? Iran lost his democratic system, and we brought this Shah, puppet Shah, and he was able to govern 25 years, and guess what happened? 1979, another revolution. They kicked out of Shah, and Iran became with United States, toe to toe. And what happened after 1979? We support Saddam Hussein next door to Iran. We gave him weapon. We told, this is history. United States, go, put pressure on Iran.
During just one little question. During the late 70s, Saddam Hussein was a friend of Americans. Also,
Exactly.
Also, right?
Oh, he was friend of, and that's why we supply weapon to him. Technology, everything, so he can fight Iran. Why? So we can choke Iran, squeeze Iran, maximum pressure. And 8 years, millions of people die. And we supply weapons to who? To Iran also on back doors. Iran-Contra. We supply both so they can rely
They
on,
keep fighting.
They keep fighting. And 8-year war, millions of people die. In 1988, our U.S. Navy shot down, Iranian civilian airplane. 280 people died right there, including 65.
That's 89, all right?
1988.
88. Oh, okay.
And 260 people died. Iran didn't even fire a shot on the United States. Because we find out American, we're wrong, we apologize, said, okay, we accept that. And after that, we became enemy with with Iran. And that continued until today. Today what is happening, Iran is a major political player. Iran has a lot of resources, a lot of technology. They have history, they have culture, they know how to fight, they know how to protect their land. And basically, in the United States government, we're coming to the United States, a lot of people, government, including elected officials, they get finance money, donation from military industrial lobbyists.
All right, okay.
Billions of dollars. So basically, when there is an opportunity for war, they start working on behalf of their boss. See, when we hear now it's a drum of war, behind the scene, all this money was coming, for years for military industrial, for the congressman, for this congressman, senator from Arkansas. He's yelling, we need to go to war. Lindsey Graham, that he would say, you know, we should bomb the hell out of Iran. We should carpet bomb them, basically kill millions. Look at the check where this is coming from. It's coming from military-industrial complex, millions of dollars. So when there's an opportunity, there's a message coming from behind. You should now, this is the time to push the envelope. So we start a war. They start, you know, on TV. They go on Fox News, Sean Hannity. They start, you know, that commentator. And 2 days ago, he said, we should bomb Iran, kill everybody inside. Wait a minute. What are we doing? Aren't we learned from our lesson? You know, 16 years ago, we did the same thing. Colin Powell went to United Nations, I remember still today. And he was trying to sell, you know, the entire world that, you know, Iraq has a weapon of mass destruction, and we need to go and invade Iraq. Why? Because after 9/11, and we, you know, a tragedy that happened in the United States. And by the way, 15 of the hijacker plane were Saudi citizens. They are part of Saudi, you know, regime. They were supported, trained by Wahhabi, you know, ideology. They're behind ISIS and Al-Qaeda. And instead of we punishing Saudi Arabia, who we punished? We went to where? Afghanistan.
All right, my dear friends, I really appreciate the lovely picture that my guest, Mr. Shahinian, has shown us. As a matter of fact, which we know, even before and after the Ottoman Empire, we know that the whole area is being a pot, boiling all the time anyway, regardless. And that provides somebody, the war hungriers, a golden opportunity to create something every now and then to get busy, right? From which, well, money is made, right? Are we at the point again? Are we not remembering lessons we learned from history, even recent history of 16 years ago? If you were taking Vietnam for too long, if you're taking Korean for too long, well, 16 years is a short time, right? Let's take a moment out. We come back to continue from that point on. Exactly. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Everything expected. Straight. It's like it seems wrong way.
My name is Paul James. I host this news.
And a Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, lovely audiences. Welcome back to the show. I call you my dear brothers and sisters of responsible Americans. How about that, right? Welcome back to the show, the East-West show that tells nothing but the truth, the naked truth, I call them. And that is exclusively sponsored by Wolfers, Belgium royal family designated brand of jewelry that has 400 years of glorious history and hand-forged by 10 generations of the greatest master craftsman. Testimony to the spectacular and a share of the royal glory. So with me today is my dear friend, Mr. Chris Shahinian, and political commentator for that region, that Middle East region. And also he was the former candidate for California Senate, a man of lots of knowledge, a man of lots of guts. And we together discussing about the situation, the kind of a delicate situation between the United States and Iran with the question, are we at another war? Right, so back to the show, you're welcome.
Thank you, Jack.
To the point, we analyzed number one, that whole area, even before and after the Ottoman Empire, has been a boiling pot anyway. Anybody ignite a little match or something, will start a war like hell big, right? So, knowing that though, it is reserved sometime to some politicians as a balance, right? As a balance sometimes to create things such as war. If we remember what we did 60 years ago, 2003, with Iraq, we will probably see what's happening now. Lots of folks are talking about we are repeating history of 2003. Do you agree, please?
Exactly. And just like, if we like what happened in Iraq, you know, what we did,
I don't.
Yeah, what's coming, it's going to be like, you know, uglier. Mm-hmm. We lost 5,000 young soldiers in Iraq. Mm-hmm. Why? Because of, you know, misinformation, and they lie about that, you know, weapon of mass destruction. We probably 15,000 wounded soldiers we have, seriously wounded. $2 trillion.
Let's do a little correction. To my point, I wonder if you agree with me. To be misinformed is one thing. To be lied upon is the other.
Oh yeah, this is lie. This is
are we or have we been lied upon?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay, good.
Of course.
Now let's say we were lied upon.
Even Colin Powell 2 days ago, he said, you know what? I lied. He admit he lied, you know, yeah. And he said, you know, the same thing is happening now again. Wake up, people. But hey, this is not new for us.
Recently, somebody goes to jail for lying to the Congress, right?
I don't know about that.
Yeah. How about lying to war to the public about the war? Nobody goes to Nobody goes to jail.
No, because we have a freedom of speech. That's why.
No. I mean, say what's his name? The former LA County Sheriff, Lee Baca.
Okay.
Lee Baca went to jail because he lied. Am I right?
True, yes.
All right, sure. Somebody lied about Iraq war, about the massive destructive weapons that creates the Iraq war, that causes almost 5,000 lives of the young boys and girls. Nobody goes to jail?
If you go to that direction, then I'm sorry to say, you know, please don't. Then our former president, you know, Bush, Cheney, all this command, they have to go to jail because they lie, and they know they lie, and they lie. But it didn't mean, you know, Iraq was not friendly nation.
Okay, let's do another correction, all right? Politicians all lie.
Yes,
do you agree,
that's what I'm saying. You know,
it is the who is the unlucky guy get caught.
Right.
Right? I'm talking about the unlucky caught guy.
Yeah. And
are they going to jail?
No one is going to go to jail.
All right.
No one is going to go to jail.
Then it's a freedom of speech.
Yeah. Well, yes. No one's going to go to jail, but this is what's going to happen. The war drum is going to go, you know, louder, you know, as we go. You're going to hear from Mitch McConnell, from Senate Majority Leader, that, you know, we have a secret information intelligence that, you know, Iran is going to attack, you know, our infrastructure, blah, blah, blah. And then we're going to start the war.
I noticed a little detail about Donald Trump, all right? I know, okay, correct me if I'm wrong, all right, please. You and I just discussing about it. So, if I compare Bush with Trump, though, I see a little different position in Trump than Bush.
Okay,
right?
In what way?
Okay, for example, the massive destructive weapons was confirmed by Bush, right?
Yes.
He was so firm on that, right? And the war was launched upon that, based upon that, right? And to Donald Trump, about our drone, right? He says some loose weapon, loose cannon, did something deadly wrong. Well,
That-
kind of like elevated the level.
I think as
Am
the
I
pressure
right
is
in
going to build up,
reading him?
as pressure build up, and the generals, by the way, all these generals that we have, if we don't have war, they don't shine. When you go to military academy, when you become a soldier, you know that the soldiers shine in the battlefield. And in general, if there's no war, they're not going to be known like Eisenhower. All the generals, they fight big wars. They are in the history book. For them, generals, war is for them to shine, opportunity to shine.
To polish their boots.
Yes, and behind the scene,
blood.
we have an army of politicians, billions of dollars fund to push this war, to push the world war. And Donald Trump has no power to stop that because his money comes from them also. His majority of his finance coming from the same people that they support military industrial complex. He might delay, he might delay, but as we speak now, probably they have the scenario.
Are you saying that by as time goes by, when the pressure's being built, he would kind of rephrase his saying?
The only pressure that we have now, as we historically, when we go to war, our allies come support us. That's historically since World War I, World War II, from Vietnam War. By the way, in Vietnam War, we created the scenario that Vietnamese attacked our navy twice. Was fake, 100% fake, and President Lyndon Johnson gave orders to go to Vietnam. It was a disaster war. Disaster. Everybody knows that. A disaster. And Lyndon Johnson resigned because he couldn't handle the pressure. But they brought
and for 26 years straight, we did not get a chance to unplug ourselves.
But today is different. When Iraq war, before we go, all our ally was coming together, including Arab coalition, to invade Iraq 2003. But today it's different. Today, Donald Trump is isolated. Look at the news. Even our closest ally, Britain, France, Germany, said, no, wait a minute. Don't rush to war. Japan said, don't rush to war. Wait a minute, because this looked like, same scenario that we invaded Iraq. Come on, we're not going to fall for the same trap now. That was the pressure that, kept Donald Trump away from attacking 2 days ago.
I see.
Got it?
I see.
Otherwise,
I see.
Because when during Obama,
with the oil tankers, right?
Yes.
Yeah, a few days ago, and with the drones, right away.
Yes.
Right?
By the way, it was under Iranian water, so we're lying again. Because we need.
Did Iran confirm that they did it?
Of course they did it. They said, and they show even the pieces of that drone. Say, look, we did it. We're not hiding.
Because in our
it was in our
airspace.
territory. Because it's crossed at that. But
the United States says that in international airspace.
Jack, look at our history. How many times we lie? How many times we fabricate issues?
There must be one lying, though.
Of course, this is lying again. I am United States citizen. I believe in this country. I protect this country, but not go to war before we know that there is a threat for us. Iran is not a threat to the United States.
How about if I say we are United States citizens who go against the wars?
We are against the war for any nation that has no threat. But we are to go to war. If if Japanese attack like Pearl Harbor, we have to go to war for sure.
Of course,
no question that. If they attack our citizens, we have to go to war. If you harm us, we're going to harm you.
I will go.
Yes.
I will go if I'm chosen.
Yes, but in this scenario, starting from Vietnam War, fabricate. We fabricate in
all the way to
we
Iraq
fabricate
war.
Iran 1952. We had a coup d'état. We brought proxy Shah, and then today we don't.
All right. Thank you very much for the analysis, and thank you very much for the prediction. Well, let's take a short moment out When we come back, we will continue there, and probably we will find more. Today with me is my good friend, Chris Shahinian, a political commentator, former candidate for California Senate. We'll be right back, please.
Everything is expected to be straight. It's like the scenes on
My
Wayne.
name is Paul James. I host English news every morning.
And a Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, lovely audiences, brothers, sisters, and responsible Americans. My brother, sister, welcome back to the East-West Show. I'm your host, Jack. This show is exclusively sponsored by Wolfers, a Belgian royal family designated brand of jewelry with 400 years of history, glories, and also hand-forged by 10 generations of the greatest handcraftsman. Back to the show. With Chris, I seem to see something better than a day ago, that we are probably repeating ourselves of what had happened 16 years ago, right? Well, over the Iraq situation. With that, welcome back to the show, Chris. Can you do us a little kind of refreshment by recalling what exactly had happened of 2003 that created the Iraq War?
We brought Saddam Hussein to power, 1950s. He toppled the government, you know, we brought him in, we support him. He was our man in that territory.
Yes.
Including current King of Jordan. He's our man.
All right.
Including, you know, Egyptian president. He is our man. So we put, you know, we control the Middle East pretty much. And Saddam Hussein, when we gave him a signal to fight against Iran, 1980, it was an 8-year war. Saddam Hussein lost a lot of resources, money, soldiers. And after the war, we, United Nations and Iran agree ceasefire. Saddam Hussein was in big debt, you know, and he wants more money. He asked from Kuwait money. He asked from Saudi Arabia money. They promised to help because he fights for all to protect all the Arabs, you know. Otherwise, Persians they were going to go. That was the pretext.
Okay.
And no one supported him. And he said, you know what? I need money. The only way I can survive if I can have more oil, to produce more oil. Whose next door neighbor is Kuwait.
Kuwait.
And Kuwait produced as much as entire Iraq oil. So he said, you know what? Piece of cake. You don't support me. You promised me to support me. You didn't. I fight for you for 10 years. You turn your back on me. In 2 days, he got Kuwait. And then he was the king again. The economy was going to boost, but what happened? We gave them signal, United States, gave them signal, yeah, we're not going to interfere. If you're going to go to that war, take Kuwait, that's not our business. That's your business. We gave him the green light to go. Immediately after, we changed our policy. Said, no, you can't do that. Get out of Kuwait. It was embarrassing.
That's a Cold War.
Yes. And then again, we were preparing the field for a new war. And Saddam Hussein, you know what? Said, that's embarrassing. I can't do that. And President Bush called for war. This is like Bush the father.
Yeah, 41.
41. And then we kicked out of Kuwait. And George Bush the senior said, no, I don't want you to go to Baghdad. Stop there. And then we kicked them out of, Kuwait. We liberated Kuwait. And we went a little bit, toward Basra, where Iraq. and we left it there. We'll put section on Iraq, a lot of sanctions, so they can't fly zone. There's no fly zone.
That's why George H.W. Bush, 41, was given lots of credit for fight and control the war.
True.
Right? With a limit.
Yes.
And he backed up at the point, of right point, for which he was criticized. If the father had done the job, there would not be a 2003 decision to fight Iraq.
Yeah, father was more smarter than, Junior Bush. He was a CIA, director for years. He was vice president. He was a very intellectual man. He knows politics. He knows how things go.
Okay.
And that's why he was going to liberate Kuwait. He stopped there. He didn't go further.
Okay.
And but Saddam Hussein didn't stop there, because he started, that the theory comes, we do mass destruction, buildings to attack. He's going to attack Israel. He's going to wipe Israel. And I have to tell you, sometimes Arab leaders, they make stupid, statements. And Saddam Hussein did also. I'm going to wipe Israel. And we have in the United States strong lobby of Jewish lobby. Strong. And what happened if you are Jewish lobby and you hear somebody is going to attack you, automatically that's, as a Jewish people, as if I was Jew, I would do the same thing. I will just like to protect my country, protect my people.
We take it automatically. We take it automatic as our task.
Yes.
To protect.
Yeah. And same thing happening now. Iran keep threatening Israel. And Jewish lobby here in the United States, AIPAC, they all, calling for war, because Iran, he might have a, soon atomic bomb. He might attack Iran. But for my Jewish friend, for people they know history, killing people, they never bring peace. Never ever. Look at the history. Peace comes when there is a respect, when negotiation. Look what happened between Scotland and England. Historically, they fought for centuries, Scottish and English people. Now they are under British name. They neighbors. They don't even have a border now. Scottish people, they live, peaceful, because they were able to come together, understood, why are we fighting? We want people. The same in a history we can learn that, killing, it's not going to bring peace. But unfortunately, the fear of Iran that is going to invade, bomb Israel, let's bomb Iran.
However, in human history, you have always the endless of the killings by war. And my friend Ivan did a research. Within the recent 10,000 years, right, the war went on in a massive scale. Within the past 1,000 years, there had been 10,000 wars, massive wars. Even people understand, like even you and me understand, war do not bring peace.
Never.
People still fight.
Never. And this war, if we go to war, which I think we're going to go.
And we are on it. We're on the verge of creating another war. We're about to touch the forbidden area. That is the part lots of people get this to their nerves.
And I'm glad we are in the same page, in our audience also. We don't want war. We know from our history, and we went to under genocide Armenian. We suffered a lot. We gave 1.5 million innocent, people died. I came from a country that, was civil war, tearing apart, communities. I know, I seen it with my eyes, what the war can do. I seen people dying in the street, pile up, dead bodies. I used to just like, war is no way. And what we are seeing now, it's another scenario. I think this is my prediction. The war is going to happen because, that's what's behind the scenes is happening. We're just all waiting the right scenario to do that. But if we have wise people, and I'm sure we have, and at least one of the senators and candidate for presidential, Bernie Sanders, 2 days ago said publicly, we need to stop this war. We need to stop now before it goes out of our hand. Because once you start a war, you can start a war, but you don't know how you can end it. The end, I'm looking at, if we lost 5,000 soldiers in Iraq, we're going to lose 25,000, maybe more. We're going to have 100,000 wounds, coming back to home with, disabled. We're going to have trillions of dollars debt. For what?
You're right. Even though I myself, I know I will not vote for Bernie Sanders for his socialist take, right, or position. I like his position. I like his choice of not going to war. We have paid so dearly for wars already, right? If we go back to the American history, there are 229 years out of 249 that we were more or less at wars.
Yes.
Right?
You said it right. You said it right. And some of the wars are justified. I have to tell you.
Of course, yeah.
Some of
sure.
the wars were justified.
Okay.
And some of the wars are fabricated, lied upon us. And last 4 wars, it's been lying, including starting from Vietnam. Vietnam War was a big lie. Lyndon Johnson and his team.
I was too little to understand the Vietnam War.
But history is there.
All right? History was there, yet I can learn only from a history book. With the Iraq War, which is happening in my eyes,
Yes.
right? I can't accept any lies. I know exactly what exactly was about. Right now, I wrote an article in 2005, right? Because I did a digest of all information put in together. I wrote an essay. The essay starts with a, have you seen any truck? No, have you ever tasted a soda that cost $8 a piece? Can, $8 a can. Have you done laundry? That's $106 or a cent. Have you seen trucks? If any tire got flat, they gonna burn the whole thing and get a new one. Have you seen the trucks of 300 trucks going around Baghdad all day long, 24/7 basis, and you put it close up to the bed, you don't see they carry anything, not even a piece of straw. Well, you must think somebody is crazy. Well, the war is crazy. The answer is the war was contracted. Right? They count by miles. All right. They get paid by miles. Whatever you do, regardless of what you do, that's the war we created, man.
We know that, and it's fact now. And honestly, even today, there's a lot of people straight-minded. They know that war is going to cost us big time. They know that. Iran is not a small nation, bigger than Iraq, 4 times bigger. 80 million people live there. Those are fanatic Islamic state. Do you think by taking this, mullah, we're going to bring Shah back?
All right, let's take a moment out. We come back, we do an overall analysis about see the balance. We'll see if we are still going to do something like we in Afghanistan. Right? Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Everything is expected to straight. It's like seeing John Wayne.
My name is Paul James. I host English news every morning.
And a golden angel award ceremony.
Hello, dear folks, dear friends, brothers, sisters. Welcome back to the East-West Show, a show that tells nothing but the truth, the naked truth. That is exclusively sponsored by Wolfers, the Belgian royal family designated brand of jewelry with 400 years of history and hand-forged by 10 generations of the greatest craftsmen. That stands for a testimony to the spectacular and a share of the royal glory. Back to the show. We're talking about the Iranian situation, the Iranian-United States situation, because we're so afraid, we're so worried about the incoming war, or we are at the verge of creating. Because we learned, number one, we learned from wars that cost lives, cost money, right? We learn from past experiences, past lessons, that we made mistakes. Mistakes cost you too. So altogether, we have to learn our enemies. If we do call Iran our enemy, we think we have to understand our enemy, right? From that perspective, how do you see the power balance between the United States and Iran?
Iran ideology, if we talked about ideology, nothing close to our ideology as the United States. We have freedom. They have religious, Islamic rule. We govern by elected officials. They govern by appointed. It's totally different thing, culture, as we have said. But as far as enemy, we never had any problem with Iran until 1979, when they took hostage U.S. embassy. That was a revolution going on.
That was the time we failed, right?
When our President Jimmy Carter sent helicopters to rescue, that's failed miserably. So the only time we have in history conflict there. But before that, we had twice changed regime in Iran. United States with British. We changed twice the regime in Iran. And now we're coming again, we want a regime change. Pentagon is keep telling us, including Bolton, they want to regime change. Okay, let's say regime change. We're going to take this Khomeini out, okay, ideal. Who's going to bring? We're going to bring Shah. Shah wife, the queen. She said one of the interview. She said, I didn't know that they brought me. They brought me to be Shah. I didn't know that those people are Islamic. They're fanatic. And later I find after the revolution that these people are fanatic Islam, and bringing us to their pot, it wasn't a good match. There was good people. But what we're going to bring another Shah there, and then it's going to be another 20 years peaceful time and another revolution. Is that what we're thinking? We're going to lose thousands of soldiers, trillions of dollars. In the end, it's going to be the same.
After all, I wonder if you would agree with me if I say the following. Okay. Regardless of Iran, regardless of any other countries, is it other countries? Is it really our business?
If you look at the history, when Ottoman Empire, when there was a problem, he was the one, solving, in that area. Roman Empire, the same thing, but each one, they has different, way of handling. And this is our time, United States. We are handling it very well last 50 years, but now it's like becomes more difficult because people are smarter now. They're not buying our, fabricated, story that, and because it's not working anymore. And that's why I think now, even though we are superpower, yes, we are superpower. We can destroy Iran. We have weapons, all kind of weapons that we can do that. But is that the right thing to do? Is that going to make us more safer? Is that going to make us better? Is that going to make the world safer? No, the opposite. We're going to create more ISIS. We're going to create ISIS. If this mullah goes out, Al-Qaeda and ISIS, they're going to go, and then we're going to see they are chopping people's head, hundreds in the streets. Is that what we want? Is that what we want exactly? To bring ISIS back to Iran for 80 million? They start chopping people's head left and right, and then create chaos. Millions of refugees, millions we're talking, tens of millions. How are we going to handle this?
There's also another factor we have to consider. I was thinking, because I'm optimistic myself, looking at history of 2003, when the Iraq War was created out of nothing. When compared to that time with what we are now, we're doing about 5G times. Right?
True.
We're at the 5G time. We're at the door of 5G times. So with the information provided on the nanosecond basis, compared to 16 years ago, probably we're better off in educating the general public about the war, nature of the war, about the condition of the war. Do you think we are better off that way?
We are better off, but still, the media is, pro-war, starting from Fox News commentators, because again, but even social media, they control everything. Controlled, Jack. Don't think anything is like not been. Yeah. It's all so basically. If Fox News and right wings, group, they start campaigning war.
But don't you forget you have social media.
We do have a social media.
Yeah.
I think that's why you see this.
The social media is a rebound.
That's why Trump, backed down from attacking.
Yeah.
That was the pressure from, by the way, from our ally, including Iran has sophisticated weapon. As today, Iran said, this is news in the news, as of today, because the United States failed to disable their satellites. Because remember, Trump said, we did cyber attack, right? That's what we did. He said, they said, that's fail. We are sophisticated. We do have the technology that, you think that we don't have. That's what I'm saying. Iran is not Iraq. Iran is not Libya. Iran is not Somalia. Iran is big fish to fry. It's not.
Time has changed.
Yeah.
Right? Enemy has changed. Technology has changed. Situation has changed. Everything has changed, right? If we are holding this still the same Bible to create this coming war, though, I don't think we will win this war.
But war-hungry people, they don't see it that way. Warmongers, they don't see that way. They see opportunity there. They see for them to bomb, to train, to test their new weapons. So Lockheed can get billions of contract. They're hiring. That's what they want. Military industrial complex. They have billions of dollars we're getting from Pentagon, from our military budget. Our defense budget in the United States, $585 billion. This year, Trump added on that another $50 billion. Billion, not million. This is annual budget. If we combine China defense budget, Russia, England, Indian, all combined, it's not even close to our budget defense. Just imagine how much military power we're creating every year. How many sophisticated weapons we are creating with all this $1 billion. What are we going to do? We're going to use it somewhere. We're going to use it somewhere.
It is by logic. If you have a full house of a warhead, though, so you have to consume some, right? Otherwise,
that's their dream, my friend.
Yeah,
they dream for a war.
Yes. Otherwise, your production is stopped.
Yeah.
Right. You have to keep the production going. So at the other end, you have to consume of the warheads.
Can you imagine Amazon shipment doesn't go out? It doesn't work.
Yeah.
They don't have. So shipment comes in, it has to go out. This is weapons. Where are they going to go? Yeah, we can sell some Saudi Arabia. They're getting a lot of our old weapons, but we need a war to just this machine can work. It's very well known. It's not fabricated. I'm not just like conspiracy. This is not conspiracy what I'm talking. Look at it. Go Google, research. You will see that everything I say, everything I said today, historically fact, true, and then there's a lot of support.
I'm saying that we're talking about logic. This is the logic, all right? My dear friend, we're out of time because, looks that we're not done. With my friend Chris Shahinian, we are touching base with you some very important issue that we have some of the war-hungry people who are making the calls of another war, and yet we're not ready. And yet the world is not ready to see another war. And should we succeed in the long run? When I say we mean the we who go against wars, right? Should we succeed in the long run? We don't know. So thank you very much for watching. And to Chris, thank you very much
for
sharing.
Thank you for this great opportunity.